My name is Max Amordelus, as Debbie said. I work with Amazon, and my role is to explain what we're doing with Alexa and the opportunities that we are opening up to build as a third party for everyone that wants to build and wants to profit, that wants to leverage the voice revolution, as we call it. So let's go see a couple of things. Why are we doing this? We're doing this because voice is something that if we get right, it's a fantastic interface for technology, to speak with machines. As Clark said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. If you get voice technology, voice user interface right, you achieve that level of delight that translates into magic. But how did we get here in Amazon? So we got here by observing three main trends. The first one is that we saw throughout the years that if we throw big data to machine learning algorithms, fantastic things happen. There is a possibility of predicting and forecasting behavior, things to provide a reduction of friction in interfacing with technology from a user point of view. So first paradigm or first trend was the advent of machine learning, throwing big data to machine learning. The second thing is the cloud. So the virtually unlimited storage, computing power that is needed to process all of these interactions, and we're talking about billions of interactions between people and machines via voice, was made available because of the cloud. The third trend is that voice is natural. We know voice, we use voice, most of us use voice since birth. So voice is something that is ours, so we don't have to learn how to use it. And again, getting into a natural interface, this third element made it possible to create what Alexa is. We started in 2014, releasing the first Amazon Echo device in the American market. And since then, we've expanded. We've expanded globally to 14 different countries. Now, users in those countries can get Alexa in their language. This is very important, first of all, for the users, but also because Alexa gets smarter every day with every interaction. So by gathering all the variety, the diversity of accents, of languages, of ways of talking and speaking, Alexa gets better and better to understand human beings. Now, in addition to these 14 languages, more than 80 countries, customers in more than 80 countries in the world can get Alexa in English to partake in being able to leverage voice user interfaces for technology. But here, how do we implement this? And especially, more importantly, what's in it for you? Our vision is that to truly implement ambient computing. And by ambient computing, I mean being able to, like in the Star Trek Enterprise, being able to speak with technology, with a computing entity anywhere you are. And the entity knows everything, can understand, and just by using your voice, you speak naturally. So this is the vision. But to do that, we need the collaboration, the participation, and the invention of third parties, of developers, of manufacturers that want to ride what is, we believe, the most innovative wave of interfacing with technology for customers today. So by opening up, since the beginning, frameworks to third party, we're implementing this. If you think that today, there are, in addition to the devices that Amazon made, the Echo family, and there are several already, there are more than 150 devices that have Alexa embedded in. And this is possible because we opened up things like this framework, the Alexa Voice Service. So this is the framework. Both frameworks are free to use. So this is a framework, the set of tools and devices and SDKs and APIs and kits that enable to put Alexa into any physical device. Let's say you are a manufacturer of kitchen appliances, of cars, of headsets, of mobile, what have you. If you want to build, if it makes sense for your customer to interface with your product via voice, you can do so as long as your product has a microphone, a speakerphone, and an internet connection. And this is what the Alexa Voice Service does. The other framework is the Alexa Skills Kit. Alexa Skills are the voice equivalent of mobile apps. This is how you can teach Alexa. This is how you can expand the feature set of Alexa. You can make Alexa become a food delivery service or an entertainment provider, a storyteller, anything you can figure. And this is how you do it. This is how you add this feature to Alexa. And this is the Alexa Skills Kit. Currently, there are more than 80,000 skills available via Alexa Skills Kit throughout in the world. There are several marketplaces where there is localized experiences, and by that I mean skills that are relevant for those customers. Because the point here is that you can create from anywhere in the world, from Luxembourg, from Germany, anywhere in the world, skills and make it available in the marketplaces that you select all around the planet. So if you have knowledge or if you have a way of reaching out customers in India, in Japan, in the United States, in Canada, anywhere, you can do so from anywhere in the world using this free framework. And as you can see, some of the brands that we do have represented on this slide are doing just that. Because there is an expectations in customers developing right now that products have to be available via voice. So there are newer generations that are growing up accustomed to have a voice built into products. So our kids sometimes might ask the radio to play something because they are accustomed to use Alexa at home to play the music they like or to get information on their homeworks and so on. These expectations is developing. So we see this as a new wave that is going to change and is changing the way that we will interact with technology in a manner that is comparable to the advent of the World Wide Web or mobile technology. It's that big. So now, there are a lot of categories of skills. There are a lot of things that you can build. There is, depending on the marketplace, between 20 and 22 categories. There are kids skills. There are entertainment experiences. There are novelty. There is a business experience, a relaxation, a lot of things that are able to be built there. But this is day one. This is the entry moment. Now, I want to share with you some of the latest numbers that we are sharing publicly. So you can see there are more than 100 million Alexa-enabled devices throughout the world. There are millions of customers that have more than one device, a very important thing. So Alexa becomes part of a household, becomes a way that you can actually interact with the house. You want to raise the temperature from your bed. You want to make sure that at the second floor, the lights are off or the garage door is closed. You can do that very easily by considering Alexa your entry point into your smart home relation. Now, it's also interesting that there is a high level of engagement and a high level of development happening, currently taking place all over the place. We have hundreds of thousands of developers in more than 180 countries around the world developing Alexa skills today. Now, some of the latest things that we are releasing, there is a lot of teams in Amazon working on Alexa. We have this concept of 2 pizza teams, which means we think it's more efficient to have smaller teams with a lot of responsibility and ownership to achieve things. And we call it 2 pizza teams because those are teams usually variable in number between 6 and 9 that can be fed by 2 large pizza, American pizza, of course. So, but that tells you that even in Alexa is composed by a myriad, a very large amount of different modules, engines. There is NLUs. There are things, automated speech recognition, text-to-speech service. The point is that we're constantly innovating. So this is the takeaway. And by selecting some of these features that you might be interested in, there is something that is called Alexa Hosted Skills. Now we have reduced even further the barrier to develop skills. A skill, like any other frameworks that you might be accustomed to work with, as a front end and a back end. In this case, the front end is a conversational model. The back end is any endpoint that you might want to maintain, or you might want to leverage things that are serverless computing in nature, like AWS Lambda. What we have done, we integrated Lambda into the developer's console, so that now a skilled developer does not need to think about provisioning as a separate effort, in a separate console, in a separate set of tools. They can do that, they can achieve that by just going into a single location, the developer's console, and then having that provisioning of the serverless resources that they need. Now, the other end of the spectrum, we're also aware that there is a lot of you, a lot of us that have stories to tell. But they might be thinking that, you know what, these Alexa skills might be too complex for me. There's a perceived or maybe real barrier to entry that you have to have some technical skills to develop Alexa skills. So what we've done, we created a templatized manner to create skills. If you have content, you today can use Alexa blueprints, which are templates that you can fill with content and you certify and you make available like any other skills. You can also have private skills and you can create a lot of experiences for your customers or for your internal organization, very important point, by just piping in the content. Now, you're familiar perhaps with the saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. In voice user interface, there is a similar concept. The right voice, the right sound effect might be worth 1,000 voices. And when you develop voice user interfaces, you have basically the choice on how do you want to represent your content. You want Alexa to narrate it? Super simple. You pass the strings or you repeat what the customer wants to say. Alexa tells you that as a narrator. The opposite end of the spectrum, you can have voice actors. You can record with music, with tracks going in and out. You can create a beautifully immersive experience. But then what happens if you want to change that experience? What happens if you want to echo something dynamically that your customer is saying during the usage of the skill? So you lose a little bit of flexibility what you gain in immersive. Now there is something in between. It's called Polly, which is a text-to-speech service from AWS. So you basically now have the possibility of embedding 27 voices into your Alexa skills. These are female voices, male voices, different locales, French, German, Italian, Spanish, American, Japanese, and so on. So think about that. You can create programmatically something and playing it back as a human-like voice. So think about the richness of experiences you can create. You can create the dialogues inside your skills. You can have stories that have people talking to each other while it's still, obviously, Alexa. Think about the opportunity you can build voice experiences that are going to delight your customers with that. Now, one other thing that I want to get your attention on is that we have heard from customers that, and we realized by observing customers, that it's having an image, having a visual enriches certain experiences. There are certain experiences that are not made only for voice. Think about having an Excel spreadsheet on voice, narrated to you, right? So not a great experiences. Think about how much more visually rich and how much more input you might get from a recipe where you can see the final product. You're cooking, you want to see a specific dish, you want to see how it is supposed to look like. Obviously, there is more in visual. And for that, you can see that we have a wide array of devices that have a screen. And to achieve and to give a flexibility to developers to partake, to leverage those screens, those visuals, we have created a language. We have designed it from the ground up called Alexa Presentation Language. So this is a language that is rich, flexible, and is also easy and adaptable. Rich because it gives a great flexibility to developers to have a full control of where they want the various elements of a visual skill are going to be placed, and also to synchronize it with what is happening on the voice side. And it's also flexible with regards to that you write it once and then you port it through all of these devices that have a screen. So fairly rich experience available to you with APL. Now, I want to close with a couple of slides. Monetization. So we heard from developers pretty much from day one that they wanted to make money on Alexa. So we have started and we are continuing to working on making available several options. We can, as Alexa skill developers, we can monetize our experience. Let's say that we do have a premium content and we want to make that available to a paying section of our customers. Let's say that we are broadcasters. So let's say that we are game developers that want to create an in-game experience that is premium, additional lives, additional time, additional content, more music. you have an opportunity to do that with something called ISP, in-skill purchase. And this for digital goods and services. But if you want to sell things in the real world, for example, we figure out a way of integrating Amazon Pay with Alexa skills so that we reduce the friction of customers having to pull up credentials to perform transactions. In the UK, Virgin Trains, today, as of a few months ago, you can purchase, you can select, find a ticket, and then buy it entirely in one session of a skill without having to pull out your credential information and Alexa skills. And then there is also things like developer rewards, where we do pay the developers with the most engaging skills on specific markets. Now, and this is my final slide, I spoke about the size of the opportunities. We truly believe that this is day one on a new wave of opportunities. And developers and brands everywhere are reaping these opportunities. So this is very early into a major phase of our lives in relation to interaction with technologies. And I also urge you to, or perhaps to make you reflect, that there is a whole set of use cases that you can develop. Think about elder care. Think about technology applied to taking care of our elderly, taking care of or making sure that they have more independence to remain in their homes longer. Think about social experiences that put together families and the older generation. So there is a lot that can be done there, and you have all the tools. And a lot of things are being built today. And this also, in addition to being a great business opportunities, think about the addressable market. But it's also a good thing to do with technology. It's a responsible use of technologies. And with that, I wanted to make sure that you understand that this is not an inspirational set of tools. These tools are here today for you, for your brands, for your teams to build. So I hope that I'm going to get questions later on. You can feel free to reach out on Twitter. I'm covering this. Feel free to reach out on Twitter or LinkedIn if you have questions specifically. And thank you very much for the attention. Have a great day. Thank you.